Hey guys, Louis Blake here from MoveYourLifeAbroad.com, and today I just wanted to shoot this quick video and show you how you can work out your budget and see how much money you should save before moving abroad. It's not as much as you think. I mean, a lot of people go traveling and spend tens of thousands of dollars for just a couple of weeks, and that puts a lot of people off, and they think, oh, I'm going to have to spend, if I want to move abroad, it's going to cost me a lot more than that. But today I'm going to show you the formula that I've used several times when I've moved abroad and how you can do the same in 10 minutes or less. So let's get straight into it. So the first step we needed to go to is do some research on the places we want to move to. So the best way to do this is to visit a website called nomadlist.com, and on Nomad List, you can search through different filters and criteria based on your preferences about where you want to move. So, for example, in this case, I want to move somewhere that's, quite cheap. So if I just go to these dollar amounts, we can see over 3,000 a month to live, less than 3,000, less than 1,250. So that seems like it's pretty good for me. I mean, it's not too expensive. So I'm going to select that. We can see down here there's 300 results, 300 cities that are less than 1,250 that you can live in. I also want to go somewhere with a beach because I like the beach and it's quite nice going for a swim. We can see once again it goes down to 27 results, and I want to go to Mexico, so I'm going to select North America, and hopefully the 3 results in there are for Mexico. You can also search. I've just clicked more filters here, and there's a multitude of filters that you can go through. So that's good enough for me right now. I'm going to search these 3 cities, and we can see straight away that there's 3 cities in Mexico that match the criteria that I've put under 1,250 a month, has a beach in North America. So if we just look straight away, we can see Cancun, average temperature, the average price per month, and if we just hover over it, we can see the Nomad scores and the basic ratings of cost, internet, fun, and safety for each of the 3 cities. So I'm going to select Cancun because that piques my interest a bit more than Guadalajara and Tijuana. And when I select it, it's going to come up with a tab, and it's going to have all the information about the city, the scores that other nomads have rated the city in different criteria. If we just select the cost of living tab here, we can see the different costs of different items, including the exchange rate, pint of beer, flights from the US if you're living there, Coke, cappuccino. You get the picture. The most important thing to look at on this page is the nomad cost of living, the expat cost of living, and the local cost of living. So the nomad cost of living is for someone who's going to be there for about 2 to 3 months, just renting an Airbnb or hotels and things like that. So the price is obviously going to be higher than someone who's staying a bit longer than that. So if we look at the expat cost of living, that's for someone who's going to be living there long term, renting an apartment, center of the city, upper middle class. And then the local cost of living is someone who's living there long term, maybe not living in the exact center of the city, maybe in one of the suburbs or a bit, and that's a lot less than the expat cost of living. And I always say that you can, within a couple of months, within 1 to 2 months, you should be able to get your monthly cost of living down to the price halfway between the expat cost of living and the local cost of living. So anywhere between $350 and $1,100. So you should be able to get it for $600-700 a month quite easily in a couple of months. So that's something to aim for and just to keep in mind when doing this. But in this case, we're going to say our average cost of living is around $1,000 for the first couple of months. So we're just going to keep that number in our mind before we move to the next step, which is seeing how much flights are going to be from where we are at the moment. So we're just going to head over to skyscanner.com, and I'm in Melbourne at the moment, so I'm just going to go and do a one-way flight search just to see and get an idea of how much it's going to be. So I'm just going to select to Cancun. Add nearby airports for both just because it might be cheaper. I've done a separate post on how to find ridiculously cheap flights using Skyscanner, so be sure to check that one out. And I'm just going to search flights and we'll see what comes up. I've done the cheapest month, but it can be any month. In this case, it happens to be February, so it's not too far away. It's a couple of months away. I might want to prefer to go in March, so I'm going to check that out. just go to the charts, we'll get a better visual representation. And I can see already for under $1,000 you can get flights from Melbourne to Cancun. So now that we've got that number in our mind, so we can move on to insurance. And I always recommend that you should get insurance and at least get a quote to see how much it's going to cost you. I mean, you don't know what's going to happen when you're overseas. I mean, any medical emergency could end up costing you millions of dollars if you're airlifted out of somewhere. So it's just better to pay a few dollars a month to be insured for it, so you don't have to worry about it. So I always recommend going over to worldnomads.com and getting yourself, just doing a quick quote in a couple of minutes. World Nomads is great just because you can extend your insurance policy while you're abroad. So if you decide to get a policy for a month or two and you decide you want to stay longer, you can just extend it online and just pay the extra monthly rate. So it's not difficult. A lot of insurance policies don't offer that. You have to buy the insurance while you're in your home country. So this is a great way to do that. So you can theoretically just pay monthly and update your policy monthly. So in this case, we're coming from Australia. I'll show you how easy this is. What's your country of traveling to? Sorry, Mexico from Australia. And we're going to go on March 1st. We're just going to do a 2-month policy. I mean, this is a good enough amount just in case we can't find a job or we don't want to decide we don't want to stay any longer. We're just going to do 2 months because it gives us a good basis of insurance. I mean, that's the minimum amount we're going to be staying. And I am 24, so I'm just going to get a price and we'll get an average of how much it's going to cost, per month for 2 months. So it's less than $240. This is for 2 months. If you just go down, you can quickly see what you're covered for. I mean, World Nomads covers you for quite a lot. You can choose to get the Explorer price if you're going to be doing a lot of dangerous activities and want to be just a bit more covered in case of an emergency. So now we've got that figure of $240. It was $1,000 for flights and it was $1,000 per month for living in Cancun. And now I'm going to head over to the budget spreadsheet which I've created. You can download this in this post if you like. Otherwise, you can create it yourself. It's not too difficult, but basically, it's quite easy. The whole formula we're using here of the total savings required and how much we need to budget to move abroad is 2 times the monthly cost of living, plus the cost of the flight, plus the cost of insurance, plus a safety net, which is 2 times the monthly cost of living. This just gives us the chance to have a bit of money if we can't find a job for an extra couple of months, or have enough money for a flight home if worse comes to worse, and all of that sort of thing. So it's just good to have a bit of a safety net. So in this case, we're going to go Cancun. The monthly cost of living was $1,000. The flight was $1,000. Insurance for 2 months, $240, which is what I recommend for you. The safety net is 2 times the monthly cost of living. So the total savings required is $5,240, which is not much. You can save this amount in a couple of months if you really try your hardest. I mean, most people, not most people, but a lot of people, when they travel overseas for just a couple of weeks, will easily spend this amount of money. No doubt in my mind. So this just goes to show you don't need to save a lot of money to move abroad. If you're willing to save for a couple of months, you should be able to get there. Do a bit of research. Follow this the 4-step process. Fill in the spreadsheet. I'm going to just copy this down here so you've got the formula for more cities if you want to add them when you want to download. It's quite easy. Add the cities in, compare them, take a look, and get going, guys. That's all there is to it. I hope you've learned something, and I hope it's inspired you to get your act together and start saving so you can move abroad sooner. Thanks, guys. Talk to you soon.